Chapter 38. Monica was sitting in Mr. Stenmore's office. She'd arrived 20 minutes earlier, with copies of the reports he'd commissioned. As he'd carefully turned the pages, scanning the information with remarkable speed, she'd initially wondered about the white cotton gloves on his hands, before reminding herself of his preference for all things sanitary. "You're very thorough, Miss Meadows," Stenmore commented as he leafed through the remaining sheets. "Please, call me Monica." "I notice the polymorphisms present in chlorophyll only develop after exposure to sunlight." "Yes, you're right. You've seen the independent report showing the latest science on plant hybridization, where plants will change their genetic code to be more conducive to the environment they find themselves in," she said. "Interesting and valuable, Monica. Thank you. It makes for compelling reading." "Thank you," she said. "I have an additional report I would like you to look into." "Certainly." "I'd like a company profile put together. I'd like it to include the history, number, and quality of its human, financial, and physical resources, including revenue, assets, liabilities, net worth, which country it pays its taxes from and to, its organizational and management structure, past and current, and anticipated performance, its reputation, affiliations, and the foundation list of any interested parties," he said. She'd been writing frantically. Looking up, she smiled. "I'm on it." Her slight hesitation drew his attention. "When do you need this by?" she asked. "As soon as you're able." He looked at her with curiosity. "And the name of the company?" she asked. "Paleontology Earth Matters, PLC," he stated. Monica had her head down. Stenmore's newly acquired spectral vision was noticing a perceptible change in the aura radiating from her, causing him to affirm, "You're engaged in another activity." "I may be away for a couple of days, maybe a week," she stated with uncertainty. He picked up the underlying tone of guarded reticence in her voice. "Something personal?" He surprised himself with his interest. The effects of his transition were producing the desired results. Monica didn't know why, but she trusted Mr. Stenmore. "You know about my background, the person that saved my life. I believe he's about to find himself in a situation that is not conducive to his health." Stenmore wondered who it could be. Surely not Mr. Phelps. He knew with certainty if Phelps wanted Monica dead, she would be. He remained tight-lipped about Baxter, knowing such a piece of information might cause her to re-evaluate her business relationship with him, and in all honesty, he needed her. If Baxter was stepping into a situation he couldn't control that might be deadly, it could also prove fatal for her. You didn't need a doctorate in pure mathematics to solve that equation. "I know very little about young people, never having been one myself. I do not want to know the details, as that is none of my business. However, I would like to make an observation, and it is this, and you'll pardon my being blunt. You don't appear to be equipped to handle such an eventuality," he said. She'd already reached that conclusion. "I don't intend to be directly involved, more of a helpful bystander." "And if the need arises and you find yourself forced to play a more active role, what then?" he asked. Her silence was enough to make up his mind. She had to be prevented from taking such a dangerous path. He embraced his new feeling of attachment to her. "I'll need money. I'd like to ask when the funds will be available from the work I've submitted, she asked. Your account has already been credited. Thank you. I believe our meeting is concluded. He stood, prompting her to stand. She lifted her hand to shake his, her eyes curiously glancing at his gloves. He hesitated before saying, Forgive me, a minor ailment. He looked down at his white gloves, which he balled into fists at his side. Miss Stone will see you out. Thank you, Monica. I look forward to your next report, as soon as you're able. As his office door closed behind her, he sat, looking pensive. Something had to be done. Who to call? How to make the call considering the nature of it? Should he contact Baxter? No, as Baxter was at the crux of the issue that might exacerbate the problem. He had no one in his immediate circle, no one to turn to, no friends. There was only one option, and as loath as he was to even contemplate the idea, there was no one else. Removing his right glove, he pressed the intercom. Turning his hand back, he observed his vivid chartreuse fingernails. Miss Stone, get Mr. Phelps on the line.